and you're listening to Two Nice Jewish Boys.
In collaboration with Australian Jewish News, check them out at ajn.timesofisrael.com. Also in collaboration with Arutz Sheva, israelnationalnews.com.
Hey everyone!
Hey.
Long time no see.
No recap.
Yeah.
Long time no recap. It's been
Before
how
we
long?
start, yeah.
It's our usual recap.
It's been long, but I could have used even longer.
Another month would have been nice. I wouldn't have objected.
Oh no.
Naor was in Rome, and our presence in Israel overlapped for about a day.
Oh yeah.
And I am off to the United States of America,
Yes.
the most beautiful country on earth.
Hopefully
basically.
you won't get COVID or get in mass shooting or in a tornado
Or in a riot.
Yeah. Or
Hopefully.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Before we get to all that wonderness, we have a sponsor.
Yes.
Masa Israel.
Yeah. We are, of course, sponsored by Messiah Israel. Guys, if you're listening to this show, you are probably interested in Israel to some degree. And you're probably also sitting at home, not really doing much with your time. And we have something that you can do with your time to add meaning, to add purpose.
And
to
by
your
we,
life.
we mean Masa Israel.
Masa Israel. Check them out, guys, at masaisrael.org. Basically, what Masa gives you is an amazing range of life-changing opportunities in Israel. I myself was on a Masa program. They have tons and tons of programs. They've got gap year programs. They have academic programs. They have internships. They have volunteering programs. They even have programs that set you up for your career, so career programs. And the pandemic didn't stop them. So they've been promoting options to study remotely while living in Israel. So you can continue your studies and live in Israel. And there's no need to be fluent in Hebrew or break your bank. They even supply partial funding. So you can check them out. You can make a positive impact on the world. You can really fuel your passion and make your travel dreams a reality. Find out more on masaisrael.org. Check them out.
Yes. Where do we start? Guys, we know, this is kind of also a 2021 recap, I guess.
Yeah. I'll tell you where we start.
We talked a lot about... okay.
This is where we start.
Oh, yeah.
My friend.
This is where it all starts.
This is where
it all ends.
Always. Guys, you got to get these mugs. They're a great... You just have to.
Purim is...
Purim is right around the corner.
Tu B'Shvat is right around the corner, guys. And...
We're pushing these mugs hard. We're pushing them.
Yeah.
I was never much of a salesman.
International Holocaust Day is upon us, guys, and
nothing says International Holocaust Day like a nice Jewish boy mug.
Adolf had them, and
yes. No, but guys, check them out. 2njb.com/merch. 2njb.com/merch, and get yourself a beautiful mug. Get them as a gift. They're great gifts. We got the BDS Tears mug. We have the nice Jewish boy mug.
Yeah.
Check them out. 2njb.com/merch.
And if you get two, you get a discount.
Oh yeah,
as they say. Okay, so guys, we've been talking a lot about COVID these past 2 years, and we wish we could have stopped talking about COVID because enough is enough. Alas,
we can't.
Because here in Israel, shit's going down. It's crazy.
Shit is hitting the fan.
Yeah, in Europe, Actually, I've been to Italy now for 3 weeks. They check your green pass, and they just announced a super green pass, so they're really, really hard on those green passes, and they do check them mostly. 90% of the places checked mine.
People walking around with masks?
Outside, no. Outside in the city, yes, but it's not obligatory.
Inside it is obligatory?
Yes. Inside it is, and in the metro and the buses, they walk with masks. But all in all, things seem pretty, they feel pretty normal. There's no hysteria and there's no...
I gotta tell you, man, the mask thing is that's what's getting to me, is it's become the norm.
Yeah.
And it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
At some point, and the thing is, it's never gonna go if because the crazies have already adopted it, and the Karens of the world, the people who don't know how to mind their own fucking business. Basically, it's like, mind your own business. You want to wear a mask?
Aren't Karens the ones who usually don't wear the mask?
No, Karens are the ones who don't mind their own business. I mean, the Karen is like...
but they're also those who usually don't wear the masks in those viral videos.
Possibly.
So, yeah.
Possibly,
Yeah,
yes. But, in this scenario, I'd have to side with that Karen.
Okay.
That Karen I'd side with. But you got to mind your own business. It doesn't make sense to me. So this week, or actually might have been 2 weeks ago, I was in an elevator at work. And I just got in the elevator.
Oh, yeah.
Minded my own business, taking the elevator downstairs.
Was it hot in the elevator?
It was the normal temperature it is in an elevator normally.
Okay.
Usually. I don't know what elevator temperature is, but anyway, I was taking the elevator downstairs. And
in your
we
building?
get in, and there's some guy in there, and he's wearing a mask, and I'm not wearing a mask. Even though that's illegal in Israel. I was breaking the law. The bad boy that I am.
Yes.
And he surprised me, because no one has ever done this. I don't wear a mask usually, and no one's ever done this. But he said, could you please put a mask on?
Was he bigger than you, or was he puny?
He was about the same size. And I said, why? And he said, because I don't feel like catching anything that's going around now. He said that. He was like, any of the diseases that are going around.
HIV, cancer.
Yeah. So
heart
attack. Is it critical for you? He said, yes. And, I'm ashamed to say I put a mask on. I'm ashamed to say it.
Just like you took that third dose.
Yeah, just like I took that third dose. I'm ashamed to say, and you know what? I really am ashamed to say it. And I think because until we start standing up, it's uncomfortable. It really is uncomfortable. And that's why I put my mask on. I didn't want to, further the argument or
was
the
it in your building?
confrontation. Yeah.
Right.
But what I should have said was, mind your own fucking business.
Yeah.
And... we'll be out of this elevator in a minute. If you catch COVID and die from it, then it was probably God's intention.
Yeah.
Like, if this is
next
the minute,
time, take the stairs, my
if
friend.
this was the minute you caught COVID, then you had it coming, man. You had it coming.
Yeah.
Like, what are the chances?
Yeah.
No, but really, I should have said, mind your own fucking business, and that's what I'm getting at. It's
right. But then you'd find poo on your doorstep the next day, probably.
No, but it wasn't it was in the office building.
Ah, okay.
It was in the office building.
Okay.
No, if it was in the apartment building, I probably would have acted the same. But that's the thing. I'm confrontational in the sense that I'm not going to immediately just be like, oh, sure, sir. So I will say something. I'm considerate. I'm a considerate guy. I'm nice. So when I'm face to face with someone that asks me to do something, I usually try to oblige because I'm a nice guy. But really, we have to start drawing the line. We have to start saying, no, enough is enough.
Like if someone is like, can you scratch my back?
Yeah.
You do it.
Yeah.
Even if it's under the shirt.
Yeah. Even like I would do it with my hands, not with like a back scratcher.
Yeah.
I would get up in there.
That's very generous. Look, I had a depressing thought about it actually recently. I was like, what if we will never in our lifetime go out from that mask, life? Never.
So I think that's
like that life, like all life as we experienced it for in our case for like 30-ish years. There's until that day, and then another 60 years with the masks.
So that's what I'm saying.
It's very depressing.
It all depends on us not being, little pieces of shit like I was, and don't do what I did, and stand up for it. And next time I can
unless
tell
you want to
I'm
wear
not.
a mask, which is your right.
No, yeah, if you want to wear a mask, but then you wouldn't have gotten in the elevator without a mask to begin with. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. But I'm saying we have to start standing up to people who are asking us to do. And the real question comes up is like, where is the line? Because right now it's law.
Yeah.
So, I've been thinking, like, what do you do if you see police? Because sometimes the police or the pakachim, the people who are in charge of giving out tickets and fines are downstairs in the lobby. I've never encountered them. But are you supposed to cover up? Because then you're just playing the game. Or do you take a fine and then fight it in court?
Yeah.
Now, not everybody has the means to fight shit like that, and the time and the energy. But at some point, some people have to stand up to this shit.
I'd like to see you go to your wife and be like, "Hey, babe, so here's the thing. I need 300,000 shekels." Yeah.
I'm just gonna don't ask questions. Okay, it's going to a good cause.
I also read a pretty interesting analysis by this Israeli blogger Natan Galula, who was basically explaining in a very coherent way what's why the fact that covering like things that I didn't think about. For example, our faces, right? They're so important in human interactions. When you hide your face with a mask, you hide your smiles, you hide your expressions, you hide your humanity, basically. So I really concurred with that. So that's basically what we're all the same, right? It's basically, it reminds me when, you have to shave your head. Everybody needs to shave your head, and right? We're all the same. We're all obedient citizens, basically.
Yeah, and it's like a unifying thing.
Can tell people apart.
Yeah. It also there's studies that are showing that it's detrimental, which to me seems almost like obvious, but it's detrimental to child development, because a huge part of child development is recognizing facial expressions, right? Mm-hmm. Like the emotional development of a child is seeing you make faces and understanding what those faces mean. But when a mask is covering up half your face and you don't get, like, babies are just really complex machine learning models, right? And the less data you have going in, the less developed that model is going to be.
And I saw this very, very sad picture of a hearing impaired person holding a sign. It became really viral, and he says, like, I can't live in this masked society because he can't
read lips.
Can't read lips. He can't understand anyone who's talking to him, which was also pretty sad. Again, we are all for people who want to wear masks to wear masks.
Yeah. The issue is that this never was. It was never a democratic issue. It was never.
No.
It was passed. It wasn't passed. It was dictated by the government in a non-democratic way under emergency. Under the emergency law.
Yeah.
And it's directly affecting all of us.
My main argument here in Israel against people who are pro-masks mandates, and that drives them crazy. I'm going like, tomorrow, the Orthodox are gonna become the dominant party, and they'll go,
you have to wear a kippah.
Or cover, or if you're a woman, cover your hair.
Mm-hmm.
What's the damn difference? And they're like, it's not the same. For you, it's not the same. But
for them, covering your hair is a divine decree.
Yes, and it doesn't matter that it's not the same. It doesn't matter. For you, masks are important, are obligatory. For them, this is the most important thing. So when they're in power, they will force us to wear the cover our heads. What is the difference? So if you legitimize this, tomorrow it will bite you in the ass.
I don't know if they're capable of comprehending that super complex logic.
This is this country. This is the slippery slope. It is so easy here. Tomorrow they'll be in charge. It's when you are opening this gate to hell, the demons will go out. Yeah. Anyway,
but it doesn't end there. I mean, it doesn't end there. And what drives me insane is the fact that this is all driven by the Omicron now, all these new restrictions and this like surge in COVID shit.
Yeah.
Is the Omicron, which there's no evidence to suggest that it's severe, that it's, people are talking about, I heard today from a reporter that If you're more than 6 months past your last Pfizer vaccine, then you have no protection against the Omicron, and it should be of concern to you. But they don't mention the fact that the person who discovered Omicron in South Africa, the doctor herself, is on record saying that from the evidence that she sees, this is a very, very mild variant, and it's not causing severe disease.
Look, they don't know, and that's the thing that drives me crazy, is that when you hear here in Israel, the health specialists, they use the "we don't know" argument as the main reason why we do restrictions.
Awful and scary and severe.
No, why they do actual restrictions.
I don't know equals we should take
as
the
long
most
as we
severe
don't.
measures.
Yeah, I'm offering the counter approach, which is as long as you don't like. Why is it? Who says that the default for not knowing is restrictions? Yeah. Let's decide the default of not knowing is doing nothing, and if you know, then we'll talk about it. But until you know, until you have the facts, let's not do anything, because you can't do things and restrict us based on things you do not know. It's ridiculous.
I think it all starts, though. The problem is that it all starts that you're willing to even accept that when you do know, then we can talk.
Yeah, of course.
You can't talk ever, because it's our goddamn freedom. you can't just take it away from people. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they've been doing here restrictions, like ridiculous restrictions, guys. They are basically, they shut down the skies. It's a miracle you're going on Saturday, and probably by the time you return, USA will be red, and you'll have to go for a 7 to 10 days quarantine, which is basically house arrest. Although you and your wife have 3 shots.
And they're talking about vaccine mandates. I mean, right-wing politicians are talking about how vaccine mandates are, we need to stop complaining, and it's acceptable to mandate people to inject a substance into their body, and we should, what was
Yuval Steinitz.
It was Yuval Steinitz who wrote about the seatbelts.
No, I don't know about the seatbelts, but Yuval Steinitz
there was a
offered the mandatory vaccines recently.
Yuval Steinitz is a Likud member, right?
Yeah. Seatbelts. Who was the seatbelts? I don't remember.
There was a member of Knesset who tweeted about the fact that we require people to wear seatbelts, which, by the way, has to be pointed out that is fucking ridiculous. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, that's not a good argument, because requiring people by law to wear seatbelts is also extremely stupid. Why? Because some people are driving in a car and have to wear seatbelts. Other people are allowed to speed on the highway at 120 kilometers per hour on a flying chair.
Yeah.
And they are not, also, which they're not attached to in any way.
Also, did you know?
I don't understand. So a motorcycle doesn't have a seatbelt.
Yeah.
That's not required by law. But if you're in a car, which is a protected metal box, I'm not saying that you shouldn't wear seatbelts. You should. It's smart. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense.
Moreover, did you know that in Israel, taxi drivers in the city they can not wear seatbelts? They can choose to not wear a seatbelt, apparently.
How come? Because they have a strong lobby in the Knesset. Yeah,
basically.
It's basically that.
Yeah. Which is...
And there's not crazy amounts of taxi drivers just dying every day. Yeah. I'm not saying, again, that you shouldn't wear a seatbelt. It's important to wear a seatbelt. Seatbelts statistically will save your life. But I'm just saying that it's not the place of the government to step in, and then you have these stupid inconsistencies where people are riding around on fucking hovering chairs, like called motorcycles, and they're not attached to it.
Yeah.
And they obviously die at a much higher rate. And nobody's saying anything about that.
Last anecdote before we move on, guys, and this is it's a classic Israeli debacle. So Bennett's basically the Prime Minister Bennett. His I don't know what happened. He moved 180 from no restrictions, no lockdowns on the Chagim, on the holidays, to complete panic, and he's basically just everything the Ministry of Health tells him he does and more.
We had a member, we should mention now, we should plug it. We had a member of Bennett's party, Amichai Shikli, Bennett's Yamina party. He was on the podcast a few weeks ago. Check out the episode. It's a really, really good episode. He kind of rebelled against Bennett and refused to sit and caused a lot of problems, refused to sit in the coalition. But yeah,
Anyway,
Check out the episode.
So a week ago, Bennett declared, and Bennett and the government declared, from a few days from now, we are going to force the malls, because the malls in Israel are one of the only places where unvaccinated can enter without the green pass. So they basically said, we are going to force the malls to separate with bracelets, so to tag basically vaccinated people, which in Israel now means only boosted people, right? In Israel now, guys, if you're not boosted, you're as good as unvaccinated. You don't get the green pass now.
Yeah.
And so they basically said the malls will tag with a bracelet, the vaxxed, in the entrance. And if you have the bracelet, you can wander free in the mall. If you don't have the bracelet, you can only go in the mall to like a pharmacy, basically, or the must-haves. You can't go shopping in the mall. Now that, to me, it's amazing, because what happened was, this time they screwed with the wrong people, because the mall owners are very strong, unlike the little business owners who were unable to rebel against the green pass. This time they rebelled, and they basically said, screw you, we are just not going to do it.
Yeah, the head of Azrieli, the head of Dizengoff Center.
They said, we're not going to do it. We're not going to tag people like, no.
Yeah.
No. They
like
said that it
instances.
was... They said, you know what, government? You want to tag people? Bring the fucking military to the mall and have them do it. We won't do it. Yeah, which is
amazing.
It's amazing,
and it's amazing that it's. I don't think also by chance that the like pinnacle of consumer culture, malls
and capitalism
and capitalism, right?
Yeah,
the epitome of capitalism.
Yeah,
a mall is the last stand against tyranny. Like, they are the ones that are standing up against this bullshit and standing up for our freedom. It's so ironical. It's so ironic too, right? Like, I think that malls, which I despise, are my savior.
Yeah,
they're the ones that are finally standing up. Unbelievable.
So within 48 hours, the government backed down.
Yeah,
which is amazing. It just goes to show that, in the end of the day, they are so weak, right? The government. Our problem is that we are weak as well. Yeah. If we show force, they will back down from everything.
Yeah.
And that's the moral of the story here. They are so weak. So it's all pretend.
Mm-hmm.
All those restrictions and laws and
it's pretend until you are the little man that is getting fucked by the government.
Yeah.
That gets a fine for 500, 1,000, 5,000 shekels from leaving your home.
Yeah.
Because you came back from abroad and you left your home early. Like, it's just unbelievable. It's crazy.
Moving on, guys. In politics, it's been interesting. The government... Yeah, it's unclear what's going on
there. Let's say the attack on civil liberties.
On some laws are going.
And I think that it's a natural extension, right? The second they get comfortable taking away your liberties because of COVID, because of an emergency, and we said this early on, and now you can see it in action. Right wing MKs. It just drives me crazy. I don't understand what conservative means anymore if it doesn't mean protecting the most basic civil liberties like freedom of speech. So the Gidon Sa'ar is the one that's trying to pass this law that basically censors social media.
He's the minister of law.
He's the minister of justice.
Justice.
And he's trying to pass a law to censor social media.
Yeah. Basically, the law says that a judge can take down any post if it's
deemed
lie, basically,
untruthful or harmful, insightful.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know where to begin. Like, if this isn't clear to you how harmful this is, Let's try and break it down.
No,
Like,
if
why
I
is
write a
free
post,
speech
if I write a post,
important?
no, if I write a post, Gideon Sa'ar is an enemy of Israel's democracy. He'll go to the judge and take it down. That's all that you need to know, basically. And
Well, no, you need to know that. I think it needs to be kind of addressed. Like, why is free speech important? Why should it? Israel also has, by the way, a Nazi law, right? That you can't call someone a Nazi. You can't use.
I'm not sure we have such a law. Germany has it.
No, Germany has that you're not allowed to use any Nazi propaganda or even call someone. Yeah.
In Israel,
I don't think you're allowed to call someone a Nazi.
No, you are allowed. He can sue you for
defamation.
Exactly, defamation.
No, I think there's
But then you can, if you can prove he's a Nazi, then you will
he's
win.
An actual Nazi. Yeah. But if you can't prove, then you're in a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the question needs to be asked, like, can you call someone a Nazi? Can you say someone, deserves to die? Is that okay? And I think a lot of people are uncomfortable with that.
Or a traitor, by the way.
A traitor. You can't say that someone's a traitor. I mean, all of this gets into dicey territory, right? Because then, aren't you supposed to kill a traitor? Or if someone deserves to die, shouldn't they be killed? Aren't you saying they should be killed? Now, I mean, obviously these are despicable things to generally. I mean, it depends who you're saying them about, but generally they're despicable things to say about decent human beings. And if you're a decent human being, you shouldn't say that someone deserves to die or that they're a traitor or they're a Nazi or whatever.
But what if they are?
But it doesn't, that's my point, is it doesn't matter if what they are, because the second you start saying that people can't use their speech freely, then where do you draw the line, right? And just like your masks versus hair covering example, it's the line is going to be drawn by whoever is in power. So you better be super careful where you limit people's speech. And when you start drawing these laws, now, of course, when people talk about free speech, they say, well, what about the fire in the theater, right? Like if someone yells, there's a fire in the theater and there's no fire in the theater and people start stampeding out and cause death, then isn't he liable? And yeah, there are cases in which speech can be used. It's called a call to action, but there are cases, but you got to be so freaking careful. Like that is a person in a specific place and time calling on a specific action, immediate action based on a lie that is causing then the death of a person, let's say.
Yeah.
But to say like me saying, hey, this guy deserves to die, it doesn't take more than like a 50 IQ to say that guy's an idiot. Who are you to say he deserves to die? I'm not going to kill him. But the whole premise is if I say someone deserves to die,
he's as good as dead.
Then he's as good as dead. People are just going to start stabbing at him like, I don't know, blind zombies.
In America, how does it work? Can you say...
Fire in a theater? No.
No fire in a theater, but can you call people Nazis, say that people are traitors?
Yeah. You can. There are... The someone should be killed line is where it starts getting... but even there is... I think the line is intent... and capability. Mm-hmm. So if you're holding a knife, it's called a threat, like an actionable threat. Like if you're holding a knife and you're saying, I'm going to kill you, then that's a liable, that you're liable for threatening. If you're a 90-year-old
grandma.
Yeah. No, but if you're, well, even if you're a 90-year-old grandma, you can stab someone. But if you're on the phone with someone and say, God, man, I want to kill you.
Yeah.
Then...
tell me that
it's going to be very hard to prove that you're liable for threatening or for saying something insightful.
So that's the first law they're going to pass. The second law they're going to pass, and this is under fighting Arab crime. They want
another emergency we need to deal with.
Yeah, because the Arab crime in Israel is thriving. So they want to pass a law which says that police can search houses without a warrant.
Yeah.
So I just tweeted the other day, I wrote, every right-winger in Israel who supports this law is an idiot because again, tomorrow, literally tomorrow, they will use this law to enter right-wingers' homes, like settlers' homes, not even settlers, like in Lod and all those places, right, where people are fighting for their lives.
Garin Torani.
Yeah.
They'll break into their homes and search it and start looking for anything they can to basically take you to court.
Right.
I mean, that's also such a basic element of civil liberty is like my privacy.
Yeah.
This is my property.
Yeah.
You don't enter, and that's it. Like, and these they really are. They're idiots. They're not. And it's never been so clear to me how despicable these politicians are. And that's one thing that you can say about Bibi, that he trampled on certain civil liberties in the last COVID, but he's never done something so egregious. I mean, to try and censor Facebook, to try and censor social media, and again, the social media, it has to be clear. Gideon Sa'ar is Bibi's number one rival, number one enemy.
And Bibi is has the strongest Facebook and Twitter and Instagram in Israel.
Yeah.
And of course, Bibi will be the first victim of that law, because every other thing he writes, according to them, is fake news. So they'll just go and take down all his posts. If I were Facebook, but sorry, we're going back to that. But if I were Facebook, just like the Netflix law they're going to make, by the way, which they want to force Netflix to invest in Israeli TV shows and movies.
Yeah, you would say I'm out of Israel.
I'm out. If I were Facebook, if I'm Facebook, okay, guys, you in America they don't get it because people don't use WhatsApp in America. Here in Israel, WhatsApp it's just the country is run by WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So if I were Facebook,
nobody texts, everybody.
And WhatsApp is owned by Facebook. If I were Facebook,
you would say I'm out of here.
I would say not. I would tomorrow. I would shut down everything, and tell the government, or you go down, or you go back on that intention, or I'm just leaving it shut.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
But it's never gonna happen.
Like the malls.
It's never gonna happen.
The mall owners.
But it's never gonna happen.
I don't know why. Why?
Because look at Facebook. Look at how Facebook has been responding to the attacks by the American government.
Yeah, but here, if this law passes, it's going to be a world first, and then other countries will.
It's happening in the United States as we speak, and Mark Zuckerberg is sitting and taking it like nobody's ever taken it before. He's not standing up, and he doesn't want to. That's the problem.
Maybe we should get one of the mall owners to run
operate Facebook. Yeah. I don't know if it'd be as successful, but not if the Dizengoff Center guy owned it.
Listen,
you wouldn't have any idea how to get around.
Again, the government is so weak. Facebook or Netflix. If Netflix says we are out.
Yeah, but Netflix just created a Palestinian story. Nobody is going to stand up for the Israeli citizen, and Facebook is definitely not going to stand up for free speech. Facebook is moderating speech as we speak, and they're doing it first of all on their own. They're moderating, and they're moderating on behalf of the left.
But they wouldn't want to give that to a random judge in a random
they don't
state.
Care.
I don't know.
I mean, first of all, what is Israel's population and Facebook usage important to them?
No, but other countries will do it after. Never mind.
Anyway, I don't think Facebook will ever stand up, and I think that's one of the problems, that they're not standing up. They should be standing up in the States. They should be standing up to the U.S. government first and foremost, and say we are a platform for free speech, and go screw yourself, basically.
Yeah.
But they're not.
Another law. Let's do it really quick. The third law they're going to pass.
Basically preventing anybody with a criminal charge from running for prime minister.
Yeah,
they've already prevented anybody with a charge for running for office, which is in and of itself despicable. They're in the United States of America, the greatest country on earth. But seriously, in the United States of America, many of you know, you can't even charge a president with a crime. There's a process. No, there's a process called impeachment.
No, until he's out from presidency. After his,
I don't think you can charge him with a crime from when he was president.
Okay,
he has immunity, I think. But for certain, you can't charge him while he's in office. There's a process called impeachment, and the whole like idea there is that the democracy is more important, like the people's voice and the people's desire. Again, unless he commits a crime of moral turpitude, like murder. So, but I think even if he commits murder, I think he's actually only impeachable. Like he can be impeached, but basically, you're basically what they're doing here is they're trying to silence people's votes. They're trying to say if someone has been charged with a crime, then they can't run for prime minister.
And the problem is in Israel, a random dude decides.
Yeah, the attorney general.
Yeah, he decides everything, and nobody can. He can commit crimes, and nobody
can charge him.
Nobody can charge him. Basically,
but he decides in one swoop that the prime minister is charged with a crime, and
any crime.
And you think, no, but it has to start from police investigations. But he has
he controls the police.
Cases.
No,
exactly.
He controls the investigations.
Exactly, and there are cases, case files that contain material against every single one of the people that are even close to being prime minister.
A and B, for example, Aryeh Deri, who was the Minister of Internal Affairs and already sat in prison for bribery. He has an open case for more than 6 years, which is ridiculous. Lieberman had almost for 10 years an open case. So this attorney general and his precedents,
meaning it's not even like he has to open a case. He just has to make the decision in that open case.
No, he
charged.
He opens the cases, then he holds them he holds it like a boot on your neck for years.
Yeah.
And then you are, exactly. And then
charged. He
doesn't even need to charge. That's the beautiful thing. He holds it on your neck for 6 years, and he knows that the second you step out of line, charged, and then you're out of office. Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
So let's move to some nice things. You're going to America. Tell us about the trip.
Yes.
So that your stalkers can.
Yeah. So first of all, we're for the first time in 2 years getting on a plane.
Wow.
Hasn't happened in 2 years. Since January of 2019, 2020, we were in Rome.
Yeah,
I remember China. There was the talk about COVID and everything, and there were people walking around with masks, and that was when China fucked us all over. Come on, guys, it has to be said. China fucked us all over. And now now apparently they're claiming it's a raccoon fox. Did you hear this?
Of course, no.
It's not a bat anymore. It's a raccoon fox.
What is is it a child of a fox and a raccoon?
I don't know. They thought bat is apparent. People aren't buying bat, guys. We need another theory.
Yeah.
Quick. And someone was like, I got an idea. A raccoon fox. People will be so confused by what it is.
Did anyone bother to Wikipedia this?
No.
Does that even a thing?
It's unbelievable. Anyway, so China fucked us over. 2 years it's been, and now we're finally getting on a plane to the United States. We're going to take 3 weeks, 3 whole weeks, 3 nice juicy weeks.
Including New Year.
We're going to be there for Christmas, going to be there for New Year's.
Yes.
We're going to New York. We're going to see a Broadway show. We're going to a Knicks game.
Which Broadway show?
Book of Mormon.
Oh, yeah.
Really looking forward to it. Yeah. At the original Eugene O'Neill Theater.
Oh, yeah.
What else? We're going to a Knicks game. Knicks versus Wizards. We're going to see our homeboy, Daniel Abadia. He's the Israeli. He's the new Omri Caspi, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to see him in Madison Square Garden. And then we're going down to Nashville to eat me some fried chicken. Yeah, I'm going to get some fried chicken. I can't wait, man. I already know where I'm going. I'm going to Hattie B's Hot Chicken. It's like this famous southern Nashville
Can you choose
joint.
your hotness level?
You choose the level of hotness. You get
getting?
fried chicken wings and fried chicken that's like super spicy. Oh, can't wait.
Blue cheese sauce.
But I'm wondering.
Yes.
This is what I'm wondering. I've been like polling people in the past few days.
Okay.
So we're stopping on DC, by the way, on the way there, and then we're going back up to New York and wrapping up 3 weeks. I have made myself a very detailed itinerary, to say the least.
Yes.
And I want to ask you guys, I'm going to describe it to you, and I want you guys to comment if you're on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this podcast. Give us feedback. Tell me, am I insane, or have I created the traveler's dream? Because for me, it's a dream. I've created a day-by-day itinerary. Now, people hear this and they're like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you like decided, like, you know, you bundled things together and you're like, what days you're going? No, I broke it down by hours. I have wake up time. I have return to the hotel.
You're a Nazi.
I have.
You're just a Nazi.
I'm Shalon's Nazi. I have everything there. I've reserved restaurants. I've booked them. I've booked, you know, everything basically there is to be booked, and I have it down to the T.
Oh my God.
Am I insane, or have I
what are
just
you doing
created the best?
On the 6th day at 5 p.m.?
I gotta look. Give me my phone. Where's my phone? I'm gonna open it up. What am I doing at 6 p.m.?
No, your 6th day at 5 p.m.
6th day at 5 p.m. So we're landing on December 18th. So the 6th day would be the 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. We're waking up at 8:30.
Yes.
We're going to have breakfast at Black Seed Bagels.
Yes.
We're going to the L Train Vintage Store because Sholon wants to do some shopping.
Yes.
And on Knickerbocker Avenue because we're going to be in Brooklyn at the Wythe Hotel. Oh, God, I'm really giving away too much information. Oh, shit.
The hotel, you won't be able to go out. All the fans will be like, hey, Eitan, sign on my breast.
I'm more worried about that one fan who's going to kill me.
Yes.
Nobody shows up. Just the one crazy guy.
The 90-year-old
like,
grandma.
I listened to two nice Jewish boys.
Yeah.
We're going to Ichiran, which is a ramen place in Brooklyn. Then we're going to a graffiti walking tour in Bushwick. And then we're going back to the Wythe at 4:30 p.m. to rest. And then we're at a Knicks versus Wizard game.
So at 5 p.m. you'll be resting on that day. I see. And what about the 10th day at 10 a.m.?
Well, that's 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, you found the one day that I haven't fully planned.
Which city are you?
We're going to be in D.C.
Yeah.
And basically we're planning. I mean, D.C. is just moving from Memorial.
You can do a tour where Frank from what's the Netflix show about Washington? Frank, the president. What's it called? Never mind.
Veep?
No. The White House, where with Kevin, with the. Oh God!
You don't know anything about this show except for the fact that it's on Netflix.
White House,
and it's
Washington.
about the White House.
House of Cards. You can do a tour.
Okay.
You can do a House of Cards. Yeah, Frank Underwood. You can take a tour where he murdered his rivals. Right here's the metro station where he.
That's actually an amazing idea. A House of Cards tour. I bet there is one. I'm putting it down.
Oh, yeah. This is where he pushed the girl to death. This is where he did a threesome.
Yeah.
You're gonna.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
So let us know, guys. Am I crazy? Is this...
And give Eitan some Washington tips.
I'll tell you why, though. House of Cards tour. I'm writing it down, literally.
Cool.
Yeah, please give me Washington, D.C. tips, give me Nashville tips, and give me NYC tips. If you guys have any, send them to us.
Yeah. Send them to Eitan, please. Not to me.
Send them to Naor. I'll let him sift through them, decide which ones are the good ones, and send them my way. But I'll tell you why I do this.
Yeah.
Why I did this.
Yeah.
Planning is always on me. So, like... and reservations for I usually take the lead when we're abroad. I've traveled a lot. I feel very comfortable traveling.
At least in that aspect of your life, you're the active one.
I'm the expert. Yeah. In all other aspects, Shalon takes the lead.
Yeah.
But I take the lead, and so a lot of the responsibility falls on me. Like, we get to a place, I have to decide, what are we doing, where are we going to eat, where, how are we getting there, yada yada. So for me, it's super stressful if I don't have everything planned. And then things can change. I'm really not a Nazi. I promise I'm
Guys,
not. I promise I'm not a Nazi.
Moreover, not only things can change, nothing will actually go by schedule.
Nothing will actually go by schedule.
Count
no
on
one
me.
can say by experience. No, but things can change, but I have to have a backup plan. I have to have something that I can fall back to and say, okay, what are we doing today? We got a restaurant. We got this. We got that.
Yeah.
You want to do something else? Great. We can scrap it. But I have a plan. So for me, it relaxes me. Tell me how you guys feel. Okay, let us know in the comments.
Is that how you do your trips?
How do you do your trip? Do you just kind of book a flight and say, screw it, I'm just gonna decide what I do when I get there, or are you a planner?
Yeah.
Are you a heavy planner?
Are you a trip Nazi? Anyway, guys.
What about
enjoy?
What about you, man? You were just in Italy for 3 weeks.
I was in Italy. I went to shoot my vlog, guys. If you haven't subscribed,
yes,
to
you
the
have
YouTube
to check
channel.
out Nora's vlog.
It's called Italy Guy. You just go to YouTube, you write Italy Guy, and this is the first result.
It actually really is incredible. He's got amazing videos up there. He had a pizza from a vending machine.
Yes.
What else was there?
Best pizza in Napoli.
You rode that super rare BMW car that like the door is actually the front of the car.
And Isera.
It's this tiny little. It's like smaller than a smart car.
Yeah.
Guys, you got to check it out. There's that. There's the one where you eat with the locals.
Yeah, but those are old ones. Let's talk about the new ones. So I just had I did one about a truffle hunting session.
It's so good. So
yeah,
good. So
and
good.
I did one in Naples where I checked out the pizza that just won the second best pizza in Italy and the best pizza in Naples, and it was divine. And there are some more movies that I haven't edited yet, and they're coming up. The most interesting... Look, guys, I've been to Calabria, which is the very end of the foot of the boot, right? Where you're
the toe.
The toe, yeah. And it's amazing. It's because when my Italian friends heard I'm going there, they were freaking out. They were like,
"Why?
Are you sure?" Because Italians don't go there because I'll just say it as people from there told me. This whole area of Calabria, it's owned by it's run by the mob. It's not
run by the mafia.
It's run by the mafia. The mafia there, it's the
not
least,
Italy.
It's not sovereign Italy.
It's mafia land.
It's and those are people who live there, right? Those are their quotes. The mafia there is called. It's not the famous. It's not the Gomorrah, and it's not.
But my Italian friend knew it when I.
Italians know it, but people in the world don't know them. They're called Ndrangheta.
Ndrangheta. That's you can just tell by that name that they're
run the
up to no good.
Yeah, they are now today because the others are so famous. The country managed to shut them down. Basically, the Gomorrah and the Cosa Nostra are declining, but then 'Ndrangheta took power, so they became the strongest mafia in Italy right now. And they're importing drugs, and they rule businesses in the north and in entire Italy. And but this is like hardcore. This is like their main land, Calabria, and it's a beautiful piece of land. It's huge, some great people there. But you see, the main thing that you see and you feel is the trash. You see trash. It's like it's a thing. You see trash in the sides of the roads, like huge mountains of trash
because there's no municipal services.
Yeah, it's all corrupted. The biggest city there, it's called Reggio Calabria. It's the capital of the region, and someone told me a funny story. They had elections a year ago to the mayor, and he's now been indicted already. The mayor and the entire everyone has been indicted. So it's not been a year even. Yeah, all the money is going to the mob basically. So the country is sending money, and the money, instead of going to it just goes to the pockets of, and it's also a means of control, just a bit like masks. In the sense that, when you are living in this trash as the citizens, you remember who has
Who
the
owns
power, right?
The guys who didn't pick up that trash over there.
Yeah, and we decide there will be trash here and there will be trash here,
Yeah.
right? And it's kind of a reminder.
So shitty.
And I went. The most fearful experience was I went there because it's famous for abandoned cities. It has abandoned villages, and I wanted to see a few of them. And one of them is called Rogudi, and some locals told me, "Listen, locals, right? Don't go there." They tell me, "Don't go there. You can go. I'm not sure if you're gonna be back." Someone told me, and this is a local.
Went.
Eventually I went because I realized I have to, because this is why I came there. But the reason is, it's like when you're at the coast, it's a touristic area, so the mob won't do anything to you. But there, it's like the internal land. It's like it's the deep roots of the mob there. It's
Really?
yeah.
And the locals actually looked you in the eyes with fear and said, "Don't go."
Yeah. People told me, "Don't go. Don't go there."
They said what? Did they describe to you what might happen?
Yeah, they said basically you can get robbed. You can get someone can see you, and you because with the camera, right? I'm just going around with a
get
camera.
the wrong idea. You don't look good to them, and
exactly.
boom.
Yeah,
You're
they
gone.
can rob me. They can. Who knows?
It's the Wild West.
Yeah, you can also disappear there.
Wow.
Essentially, nobody would. But I went, and yeah, it was incredible. The main problem when you're going there to this specific abandoned city, it was abandoned in the 70s because of floods, and overnight, the government basically told people, "Guys, you got to pack things up. You're out." And so overnight they abandoned it, and it's
crazy because it's on a hilltop.
It looks like it's on a hilltop, but it's in a valley. It's a little hilltop in a valley, and there's a huge river also there, and there's water coming from the mountains. So that's what happened, and or at least that's the story. Who knows, right? But it's been abandoned for 60 years, almost 50 years.
Spoiler for the upcoming video.
Yeah, and the thing is, the way there, it's already shady because it's mountains, like it's tiny puny road in a mountainside for half an hour.
It's not well kept.
It's not well kept, and you see the rocks on the side road, right? Because the rocks are falling from the mountain.
Wow.
And you see just rocks, and you just hope rocks won't fall on your head. And at a certain point, I drove until I saw the road is this from here on, because the problem is, every section of the road that you choose to drive through, you don't know at which point you won't be able to
keep going,
and you don't know if you'll have an option to turn around. So at a certain point, I saw the road I'm not that far, and the road has become. So I just left the car and the side of the road and walked. I walked for like an hour.
Wow.
And
walking for an hour is unheard of nowadays.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful day, and there was no one.
Luckily.
Yeah. And I got there, and it was just mind-blowing. Just me in this ancient Italian village, crazy scenery. Everything's empty.
Insane.
And
you sent me some videos of you actually there. I didn't know how you got there.
Yeah,
but it looks incredible. It looks like a scene from a video game, right?
Yeah,
from like an abandoned town in some like war and some like World War II game.
Yeah, post-apocalyptic. Yeah. And the thing is, you're there, and the only thing you hear is there's wind. So the wind slams the doors and the windows.
Jesus.
So you're like.
Wow, that's terrifying, man. Yeah. That is creepy as shit. Yes. It's a perfect setting for a horror movie.
Yeah. But, I sat there in the city square.
Yeah.
Just sat there enjoying...
a tiny little square.
Yeah. And just you can imagine the life they had. You can see they had good lives. Because, first of all, you see the houses were cute. You see the view, the amazing views they had from the windows. People had good lives there, and it's
sad. It's
tragic.
It's
sad, and it's very emotional to be there. And it's gonna be an amazing vlog. Hopefully next week it'll be up.
Guys, tune in. Keep
Italy guy.
Keep your eye out for Italy guy. Yeah, on YouTube.
Right.
That's awesome, man.
What do you say?
Fan mail?
Yeah, real quick.
Okay, quickly, we're going to go over some fan mail that we received a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
More.
A little while back, we got some fan mail. Actually, 2 people wrote us about this topic.
Yeah. I'm going to read one of them.
We'll read one. We won't name names. We tend not to name names.
Yeah.
Generally because we like to read hate mail. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
This isn't hate mail.
No, first name, nobody knows who it is, so it's okay.
So Allison writes to us, "Hi, guys. Now that I'm a major donor, I bought not 1, but 2 BDS tier mugs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. I feel entitled to voice my opinions about your show. I love it. I think you have interesting guests with varying points of view, but I know I can count on you when the BS starts flying." First of all, thanks, Allison. Those were really, really kind words. Obviously, this is not hate mail. We really appreciate it. Guys, send us feedback. If you have feedback, send it to us. Whatever the feedback is, we really appreciate it. So she continues, she writes, "I will say, though, that I was disappointed at your attitudes about global climate change. It is hard to believe that anyone doesn't understand that humans have caused this, but I also enjoyed your skewering of the COP26 Congress that just took place. A whole lot of people creating a whole lot of pollution in order to pretend to be doing something about the problem. And I agree that sadly people don't care. Most of my friends are big merit supporters, but don't expect to ever see any of them on a bus. I would also suggest that even if you don't think we are heating up the planet, you should be able to recognize that we are also poisoning ourselves with chemicals and plastics, probably resulting in the sudden and precipitous rise in things like autism, ADHD, hormonal imbalances, leading to fertility problems and lack of sex drive. Hope that's not affecting either of you."
Now that you
mention it now, in young men and allergies, there are lots of scientists in Israel. I am sure you can convince one to come on your show to enlighten us all, and you especially. Said with love, thanks, and keep on keeping on. Thank you, Allison.
Yeah, thanks. First of all, it's not as easy as you might think. We try to bring some experts, and people are...
But we do have one that's scheduled to come. We hope it doesn't get canceled. We have an expert. We try to schedule with experts. I think it's important to say that even though this isn't like to the point, but it is a point to be made, that a lot of the climate experts that we've reached out to have not been interested, or once finding out that we have certain controversial views or views that don't align with theirs, aren't interested to come on and
they
talk.
Want to come to an echo chamber, basically, not to be challenged. Guys, if you know someone, a professor in Israel who has good English, please tell us.
Please send them our way. We really, really, really are dying to have someone. I've been bugging Naor about this for like a year at least. And we really want to have someone on to talk about it. But I will say, if I can reply to this, I will say that there's 2 main things here. One, that you're disappointed about our attitudes. Well, the COP26 obviously was a joke. And the other thing is that, climate change is a serious issue, and that we should be dealing with it. And that it's causing this, precipitous rise in things like autism and ADHD. Well, I think, first of all, poisoning ourselves in chemicals and plastics, the Industrial Revolution, like the main source of climate change, supposedly. No, it really is like the main source of our pollution of the planet, right? The Industrial Revolution and the amount of industry that we have around the globe today is the main source of our pollution. How much of an impact that has on the climate, even if you want to say that it's negatively impacting the climate, it has a huge net positive effect on the quality of life of humans around the world. I mean, if you look at life before the Industrial Revolution, it was just one big
global poverty
nightmare. It was a nightmare. Like, whoever you were, your chances of being born, first of all, your chances of being born and living past a
getting
year or two,
dysentery and 2-year-old and dying in agony.
Your chance of living past 2 was abysmal. If you made it past 2, your chance of living in hell was very high. You were probably born into a hellish reality of poverty, of disease, of violence, of just awful things. And I think that a lot of that has changed thanks to the Industrial Revolution. We have the medicine that we have today, the ability to travel, the electricity, the energy, the hospitals that are powered, the agriculture, the way it exists today, the fact that most of the world is not starving to death
Medicine.
is because of fossil fuels.
Yeah.
Medicine, the developments in medicine, the fact that we can power hospitals day in and day out and keep them running overnight is thanks to fossil fuels. All of this is thanks to fossil fuels, and it's done a huge net positive. And you might say that it also has a negative impact on the climate. Fine. Let's find an alternative. I'm all for that. I'm not all for you stealing my money to do it, because that's what taxes are. You're taking my money and funding, research. I'm for private industry.
Yeah.
Private industry can look for solutions.
Like Israeli company SolarEdge.
Yes, Israeli company SolarEdge just hit NASDAQ.
Yeah.
They're doing incredibly well.
I think they're the first Israeli company now to get to the 500 index.
The S&P 500.
Yeah.
A couple of people I know work there. They're an amazing company.
Yeah.
And they're creating solar panels.
Yeah, we're all for it.
Powering industry.
Or
That's
Elon,
great.
who's doing electric cars and revolutionizing batteries.
And so I think with all the ADHD and the hormonal imbalances you're talking about, the fertility problems and the autism, there is no comparing life today to life 150 years ago. So I think it's fine to say that we need to address climate, but people should do it on their own dime. Human ingenuity has always been driven in the private industry, and it should stay out of my tax dollar.
And you had a second point, or those are
no? I was
talking.
Okay. She pointed out the hypocrisy of a lot of climate supporters, and I think that we can agree on that. Thanks, Allison.
Thank you, Allison. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Eytan is going away. I'm going to do a couple of episodes by my own, and then we're going to go for a little break, and then we'll be back.
In 2022.
In 2022.
Hopefully leaving COVID behind in 2021.
Try to not get COVID in the States.
I'll do my best.
Guys, we're sponsored by Masa Israel.
MasaIsrael.org. Check them out for great opportunities to come to Israel to, in an internship, an academic program, a gap year, a career program. MasaIsrael.org has tons of opportunities. They're an amazing organization. Before I made Aliyah, I was on a Masa program. MasaIsrael.org.
Also, the Lamed Vav podcast by Justin Hyatt.
Yes.
We'll leave a link in the description. You should definitely check it out. Fascinating about the Lamed Vav Tzadikim.
Absolutely.
It's 36.
The 36 tzaddikim, on which, according to Jewish tradition, the world rests.
Ooh!
And
look at you!
And they don't know.
Boy.
Nobody knows, and they don't even know who they are. And he basically, his premise is to go around interviewing people and trying to find these 36 people. So check it out. Nice Jewish boy BDS Tears mugs on our site, 2njb.com/merch. Check them out.
And we're going to have some very exciting news, hopefully.
Yeah, very, very soon.
By January.
We will have, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Nice little sneak peek.
Yes.
Like
also, guys, we are in collaboration with Arutz Sheva. Check them out at israelnationalnews.com. It's an amazing news source in English about Israel. Check them out. Also, the Australian Jewish News.
ajn.timesofisrael.com for the Australian angle.
And we accept donations. Please go to doinjb.com/donate and help us out. That is it. Thank you so much.
Danke,
Enjoy.
danke, danke. From the Itinerary Nazi.
Bye.
Bye, guys.